What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And as always, we have controversial or maybe not so controversial topics. And today we are talking about ease and joy, or pain and suffering is just a choice. What does your life looks like right now? Just see where you're coming from. Do you have ease and joy? Or do you have pain and suffering? What if it is just a choice to have those in your life? What if it is just a choice that you make that creates what you see in and as your life? Magic is everywhere and abundance is everywhere. And me being a medical doctor, published author, and teacher and founder of School of Akashic Records, as well as facilitator of Access Consciousness, I've seen so much of pain and suffering. And even in my life, there was a lot of pain and suffering. But then I encountered tools of access and Akashic Records, actually Akashic Records first, and realized that everything in our life we create. And it's not about judging ourselves. Oh, I've been so stupid and I created pain and suffering. No, it's about looking at how each choice we make, each thought, feeling, and emotion creates. Every judgment we have about us, our lives, creates, and it creates something in our life. It can be joy, happiness, ease, or it can be pain and suffering. So let's talk about it. Let's see if we can change pain and suffering and choose ease and joy. Because all of those things create ease in our life. Let's start with ease, because a lot of people misidentify ease. They think that ease is just peachy life of doing nothing and everything just helps in your life. And it's possible, and yet ease is everything in our life that can come with ease. It's our attitude toward it. It's how we take it. It's how we look at it and how we shift and change according to what is. Not what we think it is, but what is in front of us. Access has an amazing mantra. All of life comes to me, comes to us with ease and joy and glory. It means that everything in our lives can come with ease. Meaning that even we are in the middle of disaster that probably we created anyway, just say, just look at your choices. I was talking to somebody the other day, and she dated an asshole, and she knew that person was an asshole. And then she looked at that, why she acted like an asshole. And then she got upset. So, yes, emotions are there, but what if we look at that in a different light? A light of, oh, cool. That was an interesting choice on my part. Now what? Now what can I create? All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. What if it is something that we can choose. And people say, oh, my life is so hopeless, there is no hope, there is no choice, there is no blah, blah, blah. But is it actually true, or is it the lie that we've been telling ourselves? Because every time when we say, I don't have a choice, or I don't know, or I'm powerless to change anything, does it make you feel light, or does it make you feel contracted and small and heavy? Okay, let me give you another tool of access. Whatever is true is always, always light. Whatever is heavy is always, always a lie. So is it true that you don't have a choice? By the way, not having a choice is still a choice. Not making a choice is still a choice. What if you just choose what's light for you? And guess what? When I asked that person if it was light to go out with an asshole, she said no, it wasn't. She knew what would it create. Or she didn't ask the question. So what if we live our life more conscious, more not necessarily cognitive, but more from the question, not from a conclusion. Oh, he's cute. He's going to be fun. But is that so? What if we choose what's true for us? What will make us happy? What if we choose ease and joy instead of pain and suffering? And what is pain? Because a lot of people look at pain and say, oh, it's bad, it's awful. What if even pain is not bad and awful? What if the pain is information? Because our bodies, amazing instrument, it actually can tell us what's going on in our lives. Emotionally, physically, it doesn't matter. Anytime when something is going on, our body gives us information. And yet we ignore it. And sometimes it's very light, and usually the awareness is very light. It's fleeting. It's like whispers. Dr. Dane, I think, is coming up with a book, something about the body whispering. And yeah, our body whispers, and we ignore it. And those whispers can be like a little tickle, something that we're like, oh, what was that? And body gives us information on an energetic level, but we don't listen. So what happens next? Just like a radio station, when we cannot hear, we crank the dial up, the volume goes up. So maybe it's not a whisper anymore, but outright cry. Body's like, please listen to me. And then it might be even louder until we feel pain. And that pain, nothing more than just information we ignored or didn't want to receive. So what if we start listening to that? Start asking body, what are you telling me? What is that? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And if so, how can I change it? This is about being present in our lives. But how often are we present? How often do we actually kind of like ignore what's in front of us? Even if it's a fire and we go in the middle of the fire, a lot of times we see danger. We know it's dangerous. We know it's something that's not going to be pleasant, and yet, maybe because we decided it's our obligation or responsibility, and I'll talk about responsibility a little later, and we go toward something that's not in our best interest. And we know it's not in our best interest. Why? Because it's heavy. It's contracting. We don't feel good when we do that. And yet, we do it. Even at work. I know a lot of us have to work. A lot of us have to go to the job that we might not like. But how much of that don't like is still a conclusion? How much of that job you resist and react or align and agree with and keep yourself small instead of just choosing and asking, what can I be or do here that can change all of this? What can I be or do that melts that heaviness and that resistance? I just noticed something, and if you're probably pulling it out of your head anyway, how much of that resistance and the pain and suffering at your job is your resistance to people telling you what to do? Because a lot of us don't like being told what to do. A lot of us like to do the way we like it to do, but yet we even resist that because we decided that people told us we have to either align and agree with them or resist and react to that. And then we resist and react to our own reactions. And then we react to our own reactions. And it keeps going until we don't have a choice, or at least we chose a choiceless universe or choiceless work where you don't have a choice. But there was a decision preceding that choice, preceding the no choice, preceding that resistance that made all of that be as pain and suffering. And what if we start reversing it? What if we start asking questions? What decision did I make here that created all of that? What choice did I make that created all of this resistance, that creates all that pain and suffering at my work? What if it's that simple? I'll leave you with that question to ponder, and we are going on our first break of the show, and when we return, we'll continue discussing that. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is ease and joy, or pain and suffering is just a choice. And what's interesting, I'm not sure if the show inspired it or the class inspired it, but I am doing a class, which is a telecall, with amazing facilitator Rachel Silver, Create More Time, More Money, More Joy, that starts on September 24th. And especially if you're stuck in a comfortable and conventional way of doing business or living your life that feels limited, and you're in pain and suffering. And this call is about using the questions and creating your life, your living, your work and business as creative and joyful. And that's going to be 3 telecalls, 1 hour each, starting on September 24th. And you're welcome to join any other classes that I'm doing around the world. At all the information on my website, Creating Abundance with Ease. So pain and suffering, because that's what people are used to, because that's normal. If the person is not having pain and suffering, then something is wrong. I seriously was laughing I was laughing. I was at the store. I think it was Costco or Sam's Club. And there was something that was before the social isolation, before COVID. They were selling some kind of spray. I didn't think much about it. And the guy was asking people to try it. And when he came up to me, his question was, "Where is your pain?" And I looked at him and I started scanning my body. In that moment, I didn't have any pain. And I'm like, I don't have pain. And he looked at me like I was an alien from another planet. I'm not kidding you. It was literally, I was an alien. He's like, "What do you mean you don't have a pain?" Because he was already in conclusion that everybody has pain. And he was talking about physical pain. And I'm like, no. In that moment, I didn't have pain. I used to have a lot of pain. I used to have a lot of fibromyalgia. I used to have a lot of pain everywhere, pretty much, to the point that some days I couldn't even get out of bed. And with access tools, I realized that a lot of that pain and suffering wasn't even mine. It was so funny to look at this guy and say, "I don't have pain." So for him, it was inconceivable. So how many of you have that notion that it's inconceivable? Even in a famous book by Cervantes, Don Quixote, remember the moment when Don Quixote wakes up, takes a breath, and he's like, "Oh, this hurts, this hurts, this hurts. Oh, I'm alive." That was the idea. If you're alive, there should be some pain. Or if there is pain, it means you're alive. What if it's the biggest lie? What if you don't have to experience pain? What if you don't have to live in pain and suffering? Especially in pain and suffering of others. And that was the discovery I made in access consciousness, because a lot of pain and suffering wasn't even mine. We are psychic antennas. We are some like a SpongeBob for other people's thoughts, feelings, emotions, and sensations in the body. What if you can be just you, with nothing that is not you? What if you just ask question, who does that belong to? This is an amazing tool. There is an app that actually takes care of that. It reminds you to ask that question. Who does that belong to? So scan your body right now, just for a second. See if you have any discomfort, any pain, any suffering, any emotional pain. It's still a pain. So if you're upset, if you're like angry, it doesn't matter. Anything that's not isn't joy. Anything that's not light. And just ask, who does that belong to? Did it light up? Oh, ask it again. Who does this belong to? And just, you don't have to have an answer. If you do, that's fine. But you don't have to have the answer. All you're asking is, who does this belong to? And with that, ask it to return to sender. And by the way, you're not going to harm them, because usually whoever you picked it up from might not be who it belongs to. It might be from another person, maybe from the person who doesn't even alive anymore. How funny is that? How funny is that we pick up somebody's shit and keep carrying it? What if you just asking, who does this belong to? And again, who does this belong to? And another way of looking at it, where it came from. And just send it back. And another way of asking, is it mine? Probably not. Is it somebody else's or something else? Because there is also Earth that communicates with us energetically. It doesn't mean that Earth is trying to hurt us. It's just asking for certain vibrations that might be required in the moment. So what if you be willing to give that vibration to Earth? The pain, Earth does not judge it as pain. It's just a vibration. Our body, or actually we interpret the vibration as pain. It's just an intensity in the body. But we interpret it as pain because we are not willing to receive that. We're not willing to receive the information. So what if you take that pain that you have in your body, if you have it? This is where I'm kind of like, not like the other guy. If you have pain, if you have some discomfort, if you have emotional thoughts, feelings, emotions that Earth is asking for, that vibration, and just give it to Earth on 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And just ask Earth to receive it. Just allow that pain, suffering, heaviness. It doesn't have to be anything bad, anything awful. No. But it's something that's not allowing you to have the ease and joy. Because ease and joy is a space of being where we are being us. We are being who we are. We are being what we are. It's about being the infinite being we are in the infinite embodiment. What if that's the truth of us? And as I said, whatever is light is true. Whatever is heavy is a lie. So anything that's not light in your body right now, that's a lie. And especially if it's information that Earth requires, Earth can transmute any life. Earth can transmute anything that's not beneficial for our bodies. It can transmute into something that's healing and nurturing, if we allow it. Because we know how Earth is transmuting manure. This is just a cow poop, right? But the Earth transforms it into fertilizer. Earth can transform anything into fertilizer and allowing anything to grow. What if we be like Earth and can transmute anything, including pain and suffering, into ease and joy? Because that's just a choice. We can choose to look at our lives as pain and suffering, or we can choose to look at that as some sort of fertilizer that allowed us to grow. Yeah. What if it's that simple? What if our pain and suffering, or everything we went through, was just fertilizer for our growth and for us to choose a different path? And time flies, and it's time for our second break of the show. So you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. When we return, we'll continue to discuss how can we change our pain and suffering into ease and joy and glory just by choosing it. We'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
This is Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is ease and joy, or pain and suffering is just a choice. And choice. people say, oh, how can I have choice? How can I do all of that? And what if it is simple? Just choose. Because we don't realize how we are choosing in our lives. Because a lot of choices are made unconsciously or kind of like anti-consciously. And let me explain. So conscious choice, we're choosing, we know what we're choosing, we know when we're choosing, we know how we're choosing, and especially what that choice will create. That's a conscious choice. It's not necessarily cognitive, but it's a conscious choice. It can be cognitive, but doesn't have to be. Unconscious choice is when we choose just like an autopilot. Pretty much, we look back and it's like, why did I choose that? That was not my brightest moment when I chose that. And that's unconscious. And the third way we choose is anti-conscious, basically against our own consciousness. And again, it's not cognitive. And sometimes it is. We know exactly what we need to choose, what will create greater. We know how to choose it, when to choose it, and yet we choose the opposite. How funny is that? Not so much, right? Especially when we find ourselves in a predicament that we knew would happen. We knew what that choice would create. We knew by dating somebody that was not in our highest interest. We looked at that and it's like, yeah, I chose that. And it's not to judge you guys. This is about literally looking at your choices in the past and saying, okay, I chose that, but now what do I choose? And this is not about not making mistakes because of, and learning from the past. That has nothing to do, because if we are learning from the past, it's usually from resistance and reaction or alignment and agreement that that choice was something. It's starting each day new, starting each moment new, starting each choice as it was a new choice by asking what that choice will create. The idea is being cognitive of everything in our life. And you say, oh, but it's overwhelming. Guess what? Being overwhelmed is our resistance to receive. Anytime when we resist to receive something, we get overwhelmed. When we resist to receive something, we go into pain and suffering. Every time when we resist something, that's when trauma and drama occurs. Because if we didn't resist anything, how would our life be different? Would it actually create more ease and joy? What if we can enjoy even pain and suffering? What if we can enjoy our drama and trauma as long as we don't make it significant? As long as we don't look at that as the end of the world? So let's do this. Let's drop our barriers and allow ourselves to expand. But we might do it, like I do energy pools differently. And by the way, there is a class coming up on energy pools, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But what if you drop your barriers right now to anything in your life? And you would say, I need protection, I need the boundaries, blah, 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 blah. This is all blah, 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 blah. This is all a lie. You don't need boundaries, you don't need protection. You just need to be you. And you just need to see how much greater you are, how much bigger you are than any problem you have. Because the only time that the problem can hurt you, or somebody can hurt you, or something can hurt you, is when you contract and make yourself small, smaller than the problem. What if you're bigger than the problem? So just allow yourself to drop your barriers right now. Allow your crown to open up and fill it up with light, with the universal light, and allow it to go through your body, access through your feet into earth, and allow yourself to connect to the core of earth, to planet, to our pretty much source, because earth is where we live, so source of the planet. And pull the energy of earth through your feet, through your body, and out of your head, out of your crown. Allow the two energies of the universe and earth to mix in your heart. And by the way, they are not different. It's just coming from two different sources, and they might feel different, but might have different vibrations. But energy is just energy. And just allow yourself to receive from any energy. And allow it to mix in your heart, and allow your heart to expand. Maybe first a mile or a kilometer, and then 10 miles, 10 kilometers, 1,000 miles, 1,000 kilometers. Don't do with me, you're already doing it. You don't have to concentrate. Be that. And keep expanding it into space. Keep expanding it. Million miles, and keep expanding. And now from that space, look at your life. Look at the pain and suffering you have. How big are they? Don't contrast, just be the expanded you. Is there any pain? And by the way, is there any pain in your body right now? How much of that pain and discomfort in your body is from you contracting? You know how much force it takes to keep that infinite being, that huge being, inside that small body? What if you don't have to be that small? What if you can be that infinite all the time? How many of your problems will exist? And how many of them will actually disappear? How many of them will you dissolve just by being? What if you be that energy all the time? And without contraction, without contracting, without making yourself small, just bring your attention into your body, inside, and just see if there are any contraction of energy inside your body. Because you might have contracted some of your organs, because organs need to be expanded as well. Your cells need to be expanded. How many cells have you shrunk based on your judgment of aging, olding, and disease? What if you don't have to have any disease? Because disease is nothing more than just dis-ease in the body, absence of ease. Just like Einstein said, there is no actual darkness. There is only absence of light. So what if you bring the light and expansion inside your body just as much as you do outside? Like right now you expand, and if some of you contracted, please expand again. And just know this is just a choice. You can choose to expand beyond the boundaries of your body. You can expand beyond even Earth, beyond solar system. You're bigger than all of that. So how much smaller do you have to make yourself to even choose pain and suffering? And how much ease and joy can you choose based on that space? Somebody, when I did the expansion exercise years ago with another group, a woman asked me, it's like, I felt empty when I expanded. Yeah, but is it actually empty? Or is it the space that you can feel with infinite possibilities? How much more can you add to your life? How much joy and happiness and fun can you add to your life by being that space? That empty, quote unquote, cup that can be filled. What if you being that, being a vacuum that can invite possibilities in your life? What if that is possible? Just see what will create more for you to be contracted and solid and concrete in your body, or being expanded and allowing yourself to be filled with gratitude, love, possibilities, magic, miracles, questions, and divine energy, universal energy, and oneness and consciousness. Because consciousness is that primal material that creates everything in the universe. So what if you can be that creates? Because remember, in the Bible it says first was the Word. And what is Word? It is a vibration. It's energy. And that's how the whole world and life and love and the whole universe got created. From that energy. From energy, space, and consciousness. And I don't speak Hebrew, but somebody told me that in Hebrew, if you put the three letters together, energy, space, and consciousness, it spells a word, truth. So how much we avoid energy, space, and consciousness, avoid truth, because we've been programmed with so many lies. And it's time for our third and final break of the show. So you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we'll continue to discuss our topic, Ease and Joy, or Pain and Suffering is Just a Choice. We'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
This is Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is Ease and Joy, or Pain and Suffering is Just a Choice. So with all of that, I've been doing a lot of classes around the world. And lately, because of the social isolation, we've been doing a lot of classes online. So what's coming up is energy pools for 10 days, inviting the infinite possibilities and praying for change that I'm going to be doing with another facilitator, Rachel Silver, where we will be playing the symphonies of possibilities and pulling energy of change, starting September 18 to 27 at 10:30 in the morning for about 15-20 minutes. Those are going to be short pulls where we will use energy to invite things into your life. As I said before, what is truth? It's energy, space, and consciousness. And that's how we create our life, from the energy, space, and consciousness. So they actually proven by physics already proven presence of God's particle, Higgs particle, that creates everything in the universe. And you can join me for other classes. I'm doing body classes around the world, Chicago, Taiwan, United Kingdom, as well as in Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas is actually coming up at the end of October, and Chicago class is coming at the beginning of October. My home is Chicago, actually Buffalo Grove, which is a suburb of Chicago, and I'm doing live classes there, including Facelift on 21st and Bars class on September 27th. If you're listening after those dates, you can look at other classes I'm doing on the website, either Access website or my www. Abundance with Ease. And as I said, there are classes online as well as in person. And we've been socially isolated so long right now. It's been over 6 months, I think. Oh, it's actually exactly since I left Europe and went on my quarantine for 14 days. I left Europe on March 15th, so today is September 16th, so it's exactly 6 months since I've been home and creating online classes as well as live classes here as soon as they were allowed. And this is about not being alone and yet being in social isolation, because we still can connect, like you listening to the podcast, either live or in a recording. We're still connected. We still sense the energy. And that's what I'm talking about. This is the truth, the energy, space, and consciousness. Ease and joy is the truth of being, the truth of life. And yet we choose pain and suffering at certain times of our life. What if it's not a wrongness that we choose that? What if it's just still for fun? Say what? Pain and suffering for fun? Yeah. How many many of you like horror movies or violent movies? How many of you actually choosing to watch all that pain and suffering? So what is our being actually choosing the trauma and drama as a movie, as a play, as a game, and you are not actually that? What if you are not the pain and suffering of your life? What if you are actually bigger than that? And you're just looking at that, it's like, oh, interesting, I chose that. Cool. What do I choose now? Oh, I choose another pain? Cool. What can I choose now? Oh, I choose another suffering? Interesting. And what if you look at that from that point of view? How much suffering would you actually have with that? Or would you literally stop suffering? And then all of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. And I'm talking about all of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. How much more we can create in our lives by not making our suffering something significant. It is actually interesting. There's a lot of movies on that topic where they look at pain and suffering and changing, and what is it our choice to have? Life of suffering or life of happiness? And that's just a choice. And by the way, choice is simple. You just choose. People say, what? How do you choose? You do. I love what Gary Douglas said. Or do you know how to change your underwear when it's dirty? That's a choice. You can fit in your puppy diaper or your pussy underwear, or you can change it. And that's how you can choose in your life. Am I going to change whatever is going on? Or am I going to continue sitting in that cesspool of pain and suffering? And our show is coming to the end. We have a couple of minutes left. Just want to remind you that there are classes going on where you can learn more tools, more fun, ease, and choose more. With me, with other facilitators, it's whatever you choose. It's accessconsciousness.com. And find me in there. My page is Helen Gitlevich.accessconsciousness.com. And you can also join me for a private session. You can find me on Facebook because I'm doing a lot of Facebook Live. And especially now we're doing interviews with Being You facilitators in a group that you can join, Being You Without Hiding, which is actually doesn't have any prerequisites. And I'm doing some videos. I'm doing it with Rachel Silver. And just the last word, just be you. Whatever it looks like, whatever it is, with ease, joy, and glory. And see you next week with another show that is going to be Dreams or Nightmares. Join me for that show next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic